seen this card in forever. They are playing all two. No, sorry. They're playing two Revolt forms: Tempest
Uh-huh.
and Zest.
I I am very shocked about this one. It's sort of like they are aiming for a build that is focused around the persona, right? Like the drive check, they do still get off of the grade 1 booster still that they're playing. But I'm like, my brain, I'm thinking, well, Gust exists, right? Isn't that kind of the same thing? They're like, nah, bro. Zest.
So
This is where it's at.
completely right, because in my experience, every time, or this is my unluck, because we saw Eric play a little while ago and he
Yeah.
didn't do this. Anytime I play against the Youthberk, somehow they keep persona riding and
Mhm.
persona riding and
Yep.
persona riding.
Mhm.
And, you know, Zest is starting to make sense because not only is he getting 15k, he's getting 10k from persona ride, he's gaining a crit, and if you have your little witch on the board, he still has a drive check. I want to see this deck in action. I want to see how much of an impact Zest does, so let's see it.
All right, so here we go. It looks like Morgan is going second here. And Cyan's going to go first, discarding.
I will say for Arkhite, going second is honestly not bad.
Oh.
Draw is nice. Draw is just so nice. People always sleep a little bit on the extra draw you get from the starter, but then you need to remember, not only are you drawing an extra card from the starter, you're also the one first swinging.
Yes.
You're plussing 2 cards. Most decks, going second, you have 7 cards in hand, while your
That's true.
opponent's stuck at 5.
And now that there's a monster in the drop zone, you can just like load up on monsters now, as much as you possibly want to. That is going to be the monster perfect guard they'll be adding to their hand now.
It is
That's
sad
all.
not seeing 2 monsters, but hey,
Yep.
perfect guard in hand is a perfect guard in hand, especially against you. Holy ball, good.
Yes, yes. It's indeed a ball of goodness. So now they're going to be using the skill of the order. Going to be calling Bubble Mine here. They're going in for the attack. Are they thinking about the attack progression? They're going to be swinging here as a heal trigger. Defensive heal. That still swings, still needs to guard. That's a critical trigger. 2 triggers out of the deck already for Youthberk.
We said this early into this tournament. You can go 2 ways with Youthberk. You can either try to damage them so they don't get their Tempest, or you can just go in and try to put them as high damage as possible as fast. I think Morgan's doing a perfect strategy here of trying to rush him, because Arkhite's one main strong gimmick is the fact that in the early game you can set up that order zone really nicely, and your hand size is the biggest when on your first grade 3 turn. After that, you're kind of going down. Not fast, but you're going down in hand size. She doesn't have that good of a plus engine. So first grade 3 turn, popping down a board, 10k to a lot of stuff, to push in. As an Orpheus player, you know exactly what that means.
Exactly. And talking about pressure and pushing in right now, Cyan probably tried to push in there, but sadly enough got stopped by an offensive overtrigger from Morgan. Going to Morgan's turn, completely stunted by that overtrigger. Going to be drawing, riding into the Arkhite grade 2. Going to be adding an order to hand.
That defensive overtrigger not only stopped the whole turn of rush, it also plus the card in hand.
Yes.
Defensive overtriggers sometimes can just give you that much benefit in the early game.
It gives you such a really solid swing.
Oh, did you know? Did you know?
Uh-huh.
Arkhite's a monster.
Oh.
Order can search out your persona rights.
It's so good. I think the only other archetype that ever had that access to that is the B Heroes. No?
Yes.
Yes.
I do feel bad for B Heroes, as I've played them and my friends have played them. When you look at top 7 and you do find 3, but none of them are really good in the order zone, and then you fight 2 persona rides, and it's like... I've had my friend that's basically has been playing B Heroes Lawn on the channel look at top 7, find enough heroes, but then choose 2 and just say, no, I don't want my persona right. I'll keep it in deck.
Oh. That's an interesting thought. Okay. Now having a decent amount of monsters in here.
This is very interesting. I need to check up a deck list, because Morgan has put the bind zone, her grade 1 ride line, because technically it is a monster in name, but unless the deck list runs more, that thing's staying there. Nope, only one. I guess it's a flavor. Like, if you don't have any other targets,
Yeah, you use it so you're just able
It's
to
not
activate it,
hurting.
right?
Like you're.
Yeah,
It's not B heroes. Resting your set order in the main phase doesn't hurt you in the defense phase.
exactly.
I find it like a nice flavor. I approve.
All right. Cyan is going to take their turn now. It's going to add back their Persona Ride, swinging in for 23.
Very tame, Youthberk turn.
Very much so. Pass here for 30. Zest into critical.
That's where that grade 2 monster came in. Not only was it a good rush card, but it's 10k shield. It's basically the same mentality as the grade 2 youth card. Just a bit better because it can put any monster from drop to order zone when you place it.
Ah, and over trigger.
Oh, there we go.
And that Wayfaring Angel has a critical trigger on it. Plus over trigger, plus drive check.
We know Morgan added a BG through the order, and I think that was the right move. BGing
Oh.
this thing, because you saw that. That would have been 3 damage.
That would have been so disgusting to deal with.
Doesn't need to go to 4 this early. Not until she rises grade 3. Alright, playing our third research set order, and I think we finally saw 2 good targets. Bobaman and the grade 2. And that grade 2 goes to hand, and I see it in order zone already. So you have a 20k attacker already ready to go.
You have 2 order activations, so hey, that drop zone is looking ripe for the plucking here.
Oh, she's placing it right away. Putting a card from drop into the order zone, and then more. I think she went away from putting in to the bottom of the deck to give it 10k power. Because it is a timing thing.
Oh, maybe.
Granted, you can also look at it this way. Why put cards to the bottom of the deck to saturate it with normal units when you've deck thinned?
Oh, that gets bound. Almost accidentally resolving the skill here incorrectly. But that's okay. We recovered. So there's also a grade 3 in the order zone. So it'll be able to get plus 10k now. Back to deck.
So that little card right there is a 28k attacker because it gains 5k if you have 3 or more research in order zone.
Made that a 2 to pass. That's a heal trigger. Does not go off. Power. Drawing into a Bulba Mine. That's really good. That's 20. 28.
Nope.
Damage check. Damage check. Nothing.
This whole game has been very interesting, and we've barely gotten to the first Persona right turn. Alright, found our Schneisel. So not only did we plus the board, because we're also going to be probably soul blasting and calling that angel to the back row, but Schneisel, if we choose to activate the ability, can plus us again, add a Tempest or a Zest into hand, or even a Persona ride. But Schneisel's big benefit, in my opinion, is not only the fact that you add, you know, your key pieces, your revolt forms, or Persona rides, it's the fact that he shuffles.
Yeah. The fact of being able to filter through like 2 to 3 cards in a turn sometimes, and then also adding on to that, being able to shuffle through your deck of any other pieces that you might still need. It's so good. Him calling it, wow, they call it Tempest here. Okay.
Dude, sometimes you got to push. We saw Eric call a Gust.
That's true. So I guess they might go for a Zest this turn.
Look at Sion's side of things. You have just Persona Road. You got 10k to the front. You probably have a Tempest in hand, otherwise you wouldn't call it Tempest. Or honestly, even a Zest. Maybe the Zest is the play right now. But your opponent's in 1 damage. This is the thing we were talking about. You can have all the numbers in the world you want. All is 1 damage.
That's true.
Morgan, if she really wanted, yeah, trigger in a grade 1 off of Tempest's ability.
Okay, this is going to be Schneisel here. Going to give him power to Tempest.
I've always found Schneisel's other ability, the fact that he can give Tempest, or technically any Revolt form or Vanguard, extra 5k when he swings, a weird timing.
That he needs to attack to do it? Yeah. I agree with that sentiment. It feels weird, especially since you do run front triggers in that deck.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe in the future we might get like a restanding rear guard. Hey.
Hey, youth's good. Let's not make it anything more, please. They're getting some really cool support in set 9. We already talked about the grade 1 that can restand. First attack is a 5k booster, second attack is a 15k. You know, if we applied in this exact matchup right now, your first swing on a Persona Rite would have been 28, while your second swing on a Tempest turn would have gone to, let's see, 23, 28, 43 without triggers.
Talking about big columns soon to be created here. Another order being activated by Morgan here off of a Persona Right turn.
And we're probably going to see a draw 2, put the bottom. Here's a 23k body.
Yup.
Did she Persona Ride?
She did.
Oh, this is going to be a very strong turn in that case.
Casting 2, drawing a card here. Drawing to a draw trigger, it looks like.
This is the thing I was talking about a little bit a while ago. Granted, you're already going to get a shuffle out of it, but why not first put stuff or some of your pieces on the bottom of the deck and then play the order and deck fin more?
I guess they just don't want to.
It's weird timings.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It comes down to very much a player preference and how you want to view numbers. Because look at it this way, there's 7 cards out of the deck just in the order zone, and we've seen a lot of other cards hit here and there. There's 2 cards we just put back at the deck. Granted, they are on the bottom, but the way Arkhite swings and her activates her ability, the fact they're on the bottom doesn't matter. The deck will be shuffled. So you put back 2 normal units, and more than likely you're going to get rid of 1 using Arkhite's ability.
Yes.
I honestly feel Morgan literally is just choosing anything and everything and just putting it for the hell of it in the bind zone.
It's sort of just build their own end game right now.
To be fair, putting the grade 3 Persona Ride is literally of, oh, look, call a Persona Ride, put a Persona Ride back.
Yes.
So that card over there just swung for a 28. Perfect for a front trigger guard. But now you got to understand the numbers on the board. There's a 18k booster Bobomine. There's a 23k booster grade 1. That card that just got called will be 38 because of the Persona Ride. So 38 boosted by an 18 gives you 56 in a column.
Hey, would you like to guard this, or are we moving on?
We're at 4 damage. Crit triggers on drive checks right now will be dangerous.
OT is out, so that's something that Cyan does not have to worry about. So if they survive this turn, they can do some pressure back, because Morgan is indeed on 3 damage right now.
This is probably your easiest guard, because it's only 23. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a 28 boosted by another 23. We're swinging here for 41. No, wait, 51.
51, 56. Choose your battle.
I think we're trying to figure out numbers, because we did use the ability. Front trigger.
That's still not that much.
Let's be honest. A front trigger giving you 10k when we're talking in the 50 ranges.
Yeah, it's not that much. It's still over 2 to 3 cards to guard with.
That's why we see a PG been thrown down. All right. Do we have a Persona Right turn, or do we have just a normal Youthberk turn is the question now. Sadly, I'm not sitting across from Cyan, so he can guarantee himself a Persona Right every turn. But yeah, no.
Okay, it looks like we got ourselves a Tempest. That is a very good strategy here to go for, because if you happen to get rid of any of the other grade 1s, that does help a whole lot.
So, after round 6, I had a chance to talk to Eric a little bit, kind of pick his brain of what was going on, how that game went. And I found an interesting little aspect he told me. He chose not to use Youthberk's ability those other 2 times.
I would think so. That sounds like a very Eric thing to do, because then for every drive check that he doesn't see, is the higher chances of him seeing a trigger. Yeah, sounds logical.
It's a numbers game for him, because it was really of, why would I gamble potentially not getting anything good, and then putting all the triggers on the bottom of the deck, and not guaranteeing myself a shuffle mechanic. He didn't have a shuffle mechanic. If he were to use all those Youthberk abilities, he would know the bottom 4 to 6 cards of his deck, depending on how it looked. But then there would have been cards on the bottom of his deck, something he wouldn't have access to.
So grade 1 was revealed off of the Scale of Tempest. 5k to the front row. No Persona right though.
At 5 damage, which means we have to guard every single attack now.
But thankfully we did hit a defensive crit on the 5th damage, so that's good. Starting with draw trigger, that is...
Yeah, Tempest does not have drive checks this time. This is just a normal swinger. This is just numbers on the board, and it comes down to math. Do you have enough to guard everything? Did. One card in hand, though. What can we do?
All right. Easy. We just Persona right. Come on, brother. you know this.
Oh, fair. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, it's so good. So Persona Writing gives us an extra soul. Gives us 2 soul. And Morgan had the Soul Blast 2 draw card in hand. Everything's falling into place like dominoes.
All right. Looks like they're confident. Are they going to go about this turn here?
More cards to drop, just rest the orders for the shits and giggles now. Yep, just anything and everything.
Yep, those go in. So if they happen to hit literally any of the monsters off the top.
There's a grade 2 card in hand. Morgan more than likely has that grade 2 in the order zone. And I think it's a contemplation of, do I put it down or not for extra power? Because I think the grade 3s might still be better.
Since you also get to bind one into your order zone.
So 33 guarding at 28. And now let's see what top 7 gives us. I saw another grade 3. He's so good.
Oop. That goes to the bottom now. They can also kind of blast one to retire a card, but it doesn't really matter now.
The Arkhite has that nifty of what her mechanic does. She's basically cycling 2 of the same cards back and forth in the deck and then bind and deck and bind and deck and bind. If we could mark these cards to exactly know which copy is which, just take this card and have them red, blue, yellow,
Yeah.
I would love to see what specific card's been going where and how they've been cycling.
Oh, that'd be so cool indeed. Guard with the front trigger here. That's 2 to pass. First check, draw trigger, everything. Second check.
You gamble.
Everything. Everything.
You gamble because your rear guards are giant. Your rear guards are ginormous. Gamble everything on Vanguard. It's PG or GG on the rear guards.
Definitely.
This was such an entertaining game to watch. I loved every single aspect of it. And it's stuck in my head now that I say, I would love to see how much one singular specific copy of a card in Arkhite just starts
Just
doing
cycling
this.
through everything.
Yeah.